Hi everybody, it's Debra Burgin with Heartfelt Inkspiration, and today I want to show you about this little note card. I've just done a bunch of them as thank yous for my husband's birthday, for Burgin Bucks coupons and some other things, and so I've been coloring a lot of these sunflowers, and I thought it might be useful to show you how I color that image. So this is the card that I'll be sending you if you are drawn from the list of people who share this video on Facebook with other people. So that'll happen through Friday of this week. I don't even know what date that is, but I'm guessing it's the 27th. And on Saturday, I will pull a name and I'll put this in the mail to you. So thank you for that. Okay, so this is the image. The stamp set that I'm using is one that, truthfully, I've just used a lot, and it's Celebrate Sunflowers, and it's on page, well, it's towards the beginning. I looked it up before I started, and then, of course, I've forgotten it. So it's part of a bundle. There are beautiful dies with this stamp set, beautiful sentiments. So I'm using this image down here. It's little, it's very manageable on a note card, and it's very easy to color. I'm using Stampin Blends, the markers that came out a few years ago. So you may know that until this annual catalog, we used to sell these markers individually, and now they are only available in sets. So it's a combo pack of a light and a dark. You can see the blends that are available on page 142 and 143 of the big catalog. Not every color in Stampin' Up! Has a set of blends. For example, the one that's missing here down here is Pear Pizzazz. There are no Stampin' Blends for that color. But we have a lot. And we also have in colors, so there is a lot to choose from when you are coloring. So for this image, I am using Dark Daffodil Delight, Light Cajun Craze, Light Old Olive, and Light Soft Suede. And always when I'm coloring, I have at my fingertips the color lifter, which is not a white marker. It actually lifts the color from your cardstock, or I would say maybe pushes it. So this is a lifesaver. If you're coloring with a great deal of concern that you're going to be going out of the lines, this is going to save you. So I'm going to put that to the side. Some other things you might know or not know about the markers, and this has been true for many, many years, whether you're talking your Stampin' Write markers, our old blendabilities, is that there are 2 tips for each marker, and it's very easy to see which tip is which because there's a thin line on the end of the marker that is the thinner tip, and there is a thicker line for the end that is the thicker tip, or specifically what I call the blunt tip or the thin tip is good when you don't have a lot of space to work. And the other end, so I have to be careful I don't knock everything over when I'm doing this, because you know these caps are a challenge to gently pull off. And so this is the brush tip. Now, one thing I want to tell you about the brush tip is that you don't, I've told you this before, is that you don't put it point down and start coloring, because that's a good way to ruin the tip. So instead you're going to be giving it more of a brushing or swiping feeling. Okay, so I'm going to move this up so I'm not so close. I'm going to start with the brush tip of my daffodil marker, and I'm not very close to my work, so in a way I can't exactly see how close I am. But I'm sort of using the side of my marker to color this. And again, it's art. It's not a photograph. So if I go out of the lines, it's okay. People know this is a sunflower. Now, another little tip. When I go to do the shading, so I'm going to take the opposite end cap off. I'm going to get my blunt tip, my smaller tip, ready. I just put my cap on like this and it's ready. Is that when you start to do the blending, so let me show you the finished product again. So all I have on these petals is two colors. I have Daffodil Delight and I have Cajun Craze. If you look at this though, you should be able to see that it looks like there's a mid-tone in between those, in between the lightest and the darkest color. And that is the blending. It's simple to do, but it's easier to do if you do it while the ink is still relatively wet. So, oops. Okay, so all I'm going to do is put some lines here. And the cool thing about this is I just use the lines that are already on the image. I don't have to invent something. Okay, and I'm going to do about half of them. And then I'm going to come in with my blunt tip and I'm just going to scribble pretty much like in between the yellow and the Cajun. Okay, and so if I haven't waited too long and talked too much, you should be able to see that those are blending. Now, I also tell people when they're coloring, don't worry about leaving white, because white is where the light hits your image, it hits your object. But this is a good time to go back and fill in. Okay, so, whoops, didn't really mean to close that. Now let's go and do the second half. So see what a difference there is between the blended and the unblended areas? Okay. Okay. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. Okay, and you know, you can play and play and play with this and never be done, but I want to be done. Okay, so next is the center, the seed area, and there's a lot of, oh, I meant to say that I stamped this image in soft suede, regular old soft suede ink. So the rule is, and again, I'm sorry, I've told you this before, I think, is that when you're using alcohol markers, you really should be starting with an image that is stamped in Memento ink. So we have two colors, no, we have Memento Tuxedo Black. That prevents any kind of blurring of the image when you use your alcohol markers. But the reality is it's worth experimenting with our classic ink. And really, I don't see any blurring. I don't see any dragging of the sunflower image because I use this. So I would say that's a suggestion, but not really a requirement. Okay, another thing I can tell you about coloring, so I'm right-handed, is that I am always making sure I can see where I'm coloring. That seems really like a kind of an obvious statement, but I have seen people color back this way, and your hand is in the way if you're trying to do that. So I am moving my paper, I'm moving my image so that I can always see my coloring right in front of my hand, or I should say off to the side of my hand. Okay, now all we have left to do is the leaf. Now, as usual, you can get much more detailed with blending and adding different colors, but the leaf is not really a significant part of this image. So I'm just using one color, light old olive. I'm not putting in any shading because, again, there's a lot of shading with these lines that are part of the image. Okay, there you have it. And the next thing that I would be doing would be to cut it out, because the bundle that comes with this set, it doesn't come with it. The dies that come in the bundle with this set cut out this little sunflower. And I may be rushing it. We're having just a brutally hot week this week. And yeah, I guess I'm hoping for cooler weather and more autumnal types of images like this one. So, okay, so that is how I color with Stampin' Blends. And again, this is the completed card. If you watched my blog last week, I talked about this tilted frame layout, which is a little bit of a misnomer because the frame is not tilted. The frame is straight. It's this back piece that's tilted. But again, a very simple card to put together and very easy, especially on a note card because the size is proportional. Okay, so please share this video this week. And on Saturday, I will choose somebody who has shared it and I will drop this in the mail to you. So thank you very much, and I will see you next week.